Right, we're here for another episode with Dan on 10 Minutes With. So Dan, tell us what you do.
Right, so I am a tattooist. I do a lot of quite famous people as well as the general public.
Yep.
But yeah, tell me what you want to know.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing tattooing about 15, 16 years now.
Okay.
So.
And when did you start? When did you step into doing the famous people and all the celebrities? Is that in the last 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years?
Well, no, obviously it's one of those ones where it's a bit of a process. So always had the thought probably around 10 years ago, I'd say now.
Okay.
And then it just got to a point where obviously I'll tell you, let's strip it back actually.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is I had this vision of I wanted to do professional footballers.
Okay.
So I was thinking, how am I going to be able to sort of grab these people? So I started just going to the training ground, Cobham.
Okay.
So I was going there.
And that's where Chelsea is?
That's where Chelsea is,
Right.
yeah. So I ended up going there and I started drawing portrait pictures of certain players at the club.
Okay.
I'd go down there, I'd take my kids as a bit of an excuse so they could get the shirt signed and whatnot. And then as they were doing that, I'd present the players with the portrait drawings.
Okay.
And it basically stemmed from there. So it's one of those ones where with tattooing now, people see me tattooing the pros, but it's more that there is actually a lot more behind the scenes that people don't realise where it actually all come from. And it started from me going to Cobham, handing these portrait drawings out to the players. Mishi Batshuayi was one of them, John Terry, there was a few, Eden Hazard, and then it stemmed from there. It was pretty mad actually, sort of how it went.
So the reason I wanted to talk to you is obviously you're big on social media, you do your thing and you're very successful in what you do and you have guys working with you.
Yeah.
But for someone who's 16, 17, 18, who's looking at you and thinking, I want to be a tattoo artist, right? I want to do this. You know, obviously it's very shiny, it's very bright, you know, you're doing, it's very glamorous from the outside world. Yeah. So I'm 16, 17, 18, okay? So what are the steps I need to take to become as tattoo artist? What's the journey?
It is one of those ones where it is a sticky sort of grey area because there is no proper qualification in tattooing.
Okay.
The only thing you need to do is satisfy environmental health that you can actually do the job safely.
Okay.
That's the only requirement. So with what that does is it breeds a couple of sort of bad things with the industry. You either get people that start tattooing, that will buy kit from eBay, start doing it on their friends or in kitchens, or you get people that set up with no knowledge at all. And the proper process that I'd always suggest to people, especially if you're young, is being artistic is the first box you want to be ticking. Okay. You want to create a portfolio that's strong, to be able to go and present to a studio.
From an art perspective.
Exactly that, yeah. So in drawing, a solid portfolio. Yeah. And then you obviously, really you shouldn't be able to get into tattoo until you're 18. So obviously if you're 16, you want to use that couple of years, maybe going to art school or something like that, just to understand art as a whole and have an overall good understanding of art, because you get some people that are very good at just replicating but don't necessarily know the background of art and so on. So it is good to understand, even just from lights and contours and saturations and shadings and stuff like that.
Your suggestion is that for the first couple of years, 16 to 18, do some art, learn art as a form, study it, and then create your portfolio.
Exactly.
Now, I've now got a portfolio. What do I do with it? Do I come to someone like you or a studio, or where do I go?
So again, this industry, this is the biggest problem with it. That's why you get people that try going around the houses, doing the shortcuts, or the newest trend on the scene at the moment is these quick tattoo courses in 2 weeks. You'll go and pay $3,000 to somebody to teach you, and then they're on the dream of that they're going to make big money and become an incredible tattooist in 2 weeks, and that's just not how it rolls. It takes a long time to learn this industry, and you're not going to do it in 2 weeks. So again, it's kind of trying to educate people around these areas of really all you should be doing is focusing on the portfolio and then presenting that to a studio.
So let's say someone walks in tomorrow morning
Yeah.
and says, here's my portfolio, and you go, okay, well, it looks decent.
Yeah.
They're 18 years old and they come and work and you think you could give them a shot. What's the first things they do when they're here?
So the first things that they do is obviously they come in, present you the portfolio.
Yeah.
Once you're happy and confident that, oh, actually this person looks like they've got something to work with,
yeah.
then the process would be usually that person, whoever's running the shop, will offer you a spot to maybe come in for a month
yeah.
and kind of see, if the environment's for the individual, but
yeah.
also obviously for the people working within the studio. And you tend to find you'll do simple tasks like taking the phones,
yeah.
Filling forms out for clients coming in.
Yeah.
You might be, so general cleaning is the top one.
Okay.
Because
Hygiene's
it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing the amount of people that think they can come in, do tattooing, but they totally disregard that cleaning is the number one priority.
Yeah.
And for me, if you're just going to come in and bounce and not do the cleaning, how does that reflect when you come to actually working on clients and doing stuff safely? So
it's like an apprenticeship type of thing, isn't it? You've got to do the basics, got to do the groundwork.
Exactly.
And then you say, look, after a month, you've done, you've earned your stripes, so to speak, and then they can put ink to skin.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Slowly with different small tasks.
Every studio has got different ways on. You used to be around about 3 years. You'd have people on apprenticeship. You see people that are doing them in a year. Obviously, everyone learns at different speeds. You get some people that pick it up really fast, and you think, oh, this person's going to be incredibly good very quickly.
Yeah.
You get other people and they're slow burners, and then something just clicks, and then they become great tattooists. So again, sometimes it is more down to the individual, but all I will say is don't expect to get paid from the word go, because 9 times out of 10, your payment in the short term is the knowledge that you're being given and learning. So it's effectively like going to college. You go to college, you don't get paid.
Yeah, but if someone walked in here and they've given you the portfolio, would they, what sort of money are they looking to earn initially? Most
places, 95% of places, you wouldn't get paid until you're at a point where you could actually start earning the studio some money, so then your payment would come from that.
And let's say we've done a year or so and you're quite comfortable with the situation. What sort of money am I looking at earning initially?
In the short term, once you're at a point where you can actually tattoo?
Yeah.
Again, it's very difficult. You're probably looking at anything from £300 to maybe £500 a week in the short term.
Okay, so roughly about 20 to 25 grand a year salary.
Something.
Okay, but that's after
that region.
I've done my portfolio, I've done my graft, I'm sat, I'm doing everything around the studio. It's a big commitment.
Yeah, 100%. Because also what will happen is like it's very much like a roller coaster to start off with, because you'll get yourself on your feet, you'll get 1 or 2 weeks where you think, oh, getting a good amount of bookings, it's coming through, and then all of a sudden you're on your arse for a couple of weeks and you think, I've only done a couple of clients. And it's very much like that for a long time until you're getting the repeat custom, but also your exposure of what you're doing sort of gets a broader reach, and then you can get more consistency that way.
And my last question is, how important is social media with what you do as a up-and-coming artist?
It's a conversation I have with a lot of artists that are coming up more so now, is platforms, especially the likes of TikTok and platforms like that. They're not just a platform where kids dance on it anymore. It's a proper platform where the organic reach of getting you out there and to people that are not on your friends lists and all the rest of it, it's incredible for that. It's one of those things that I always say, if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. You might be posting to people relentlessly. They might not be ready for a tattoo at that point, but when they are ready for a tattoo, you're going to be the first in their mind because you have been relentless posting. And the exposure, again, especially with TikTok, is I've got most of my clients are traveling clients now from all over the world.
And they've come to
And
you.
that's all coming from TikTok and the exposure and reach it gives.
Brilliant. And the last thing is, if you were to give a young person some advice about your industry today, what would be that one bit of advice?
That one bit of advice I would say is just, it's a difficult one. I would say make sure that portfolio is as strong as you possibly can make it. Try not to go and shortcut because you're seeing stuff online from people that have already done their 10, 15 years already.
Yeah.
And you think that obviously you wanted that all yesterday. Doesn't work like that. Got to persevere, stick to it, graft hard. And again, it's that famous thing of you only get what you put into it back. And you just got to keep rolling with that. And that's what I've done, and it's worked for me. This process has been a 15 years process. I used to do 2 jobs.
Yeah.
I used to earn very little money out of it, and that went on for probably the first 5 years as well of tattooing. But now the rewards show, so that's what I'd say.
So you can't cheat the graft.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
No,
It's exactly that.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Nice one,
and we'll speak soon.
Yeah, we'll do.